And here we are, podcast number what?
Yeah, woo! Trauma Illinois
6.
podcast.
This is
All right.
actually podcast number 6.
Truly number 6. So before we start,
Is it?
is that on?
Yeah, the red
Turn
light
it down.
means we're
Down
going.
here.
Turn the
your
volume
phone.
down. It's echo. All right, so we have to make a big deal out of these. How does this work?
All right. Here we are. Welcome to podcast number 6. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Fantastic.
Awesome. We would like to wish a very happy and belated birthday to Garrett Kreider. His birthday was on the 5th.
Yay.
Yay.
And a
Monday.
happy almost 21st birthday to Mr. Jack Johnson. It will be
Yeah.
on the 17th.
Yep, that's me.
Yay.
So today we're celebrating with some very special John Lemon Moran Milkshake IPAs by Streetside Brewery.
Brewed right here in Cincinnati, Ohio.
But mine is full of water.
Right.
Right on. Woohoo! Yeah, cheers if you can get it open.
Shout out to Margot for buying these for us.
Yes.
You're a beast.
This will be the first time, 21st birthday will be the first time I've really drank since we were 17 or 18.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't gotten drunk. I mean, I've gotten drunk because I only take 2 shots to get drunk, but
Right.
I haven't pushed myself to get drunk.
I see, in a long time.
Yeah, I was like, oh, just wait till 21. Why not? And now I'm 21 almost.
Yay.
What is that? Isn't there a word for that in the English dictionary?
When you pop a tab with a bottle cap?
Yeah.
It's called a popple cap.
Popple cap?
Popple capper.
Sure.
Yeah,
When you use the cap to uncap something?
yeah, it's a popple capper. It's one version of it. That's
use
what it's
I
called.
only believe you because of how confident you are right now. Now I'm all wet.
If there's anything that I've learned about modern music and television and just media, is that if you do something just really, really confidently, people will consume it.
Well,
Oh,
that's
all right.
that's my favorite
Cheers,
kind
gentlemen.
of. Oh yeah.
Cheers.
That's my favorite kind of joke is when you just take a lane that is so far from reality and you just
Damn.
really convince yourself it's real and just act like it's real.
Yeah. It's what's that called? Psychosis?
No.
Something like that for sure.
No, I think it's sarcasm. It's an extreme version.
Varies, I suppose.
It's an extreme version of sarcasm. It's it's
when you
heavy
convince
sarcasm.
something that's real, like method acting. Weren't we just talking about this?
We were just talking about method.
About method acting?
Yeah,
You actually take meth before you play a role.
method acting.
so-
Before you
Someone's-
adact?
Yeah, right. Adapt.
That's what Heath Ledger did with the Joker. He walked around and he killed people all the time.
Oh, right.
So he could get
Did a
his-
bunch of pills.
Well, you get
That's
what's
it.
coming to you, man.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm fucking thinking of Rivers Phoenix. Never mind.
You get what's coming to you. He died.
Oh wait, and he wasn't even murdered. I just thought he was
No,
murdered
he
for
just-
some reason. He
he
just
died
OD'd
of-
outside
because
the
he was
club.
murdered in one of his movies, right?
Wasn't he?
Or was that? Yeah, he was murdered in Stand By Me. In the
Oh.
epilogue.
Well, I mean, at the end
Well,
of
for the longest time until a month ago, I thought he was murdered outside the Viper Room, but he actually just OD'd.
He
outside.
OD'd,
There was
yeah.
no murder involved, but
I thought he OD'd
was
inside
for
in
some-
the bathroom.
No, that was Jim Morrison.
Well, but he was in Paris, and nobody knows if he actually OD'd.
yeah, that's true. Nobody knows how he died. He just was dead when they found him.
They found him in the bathtub
Yeah.
in his apartment.
Right.
And they
Wasn't
where
There's
the
a
autopsy?
conspiracy
Isn't
theory
the
about
theory,
him.
Yeah, about being in the bar.
He OD'd in the nightclub or bar, and then the owner and associated people drug his body
Right.
back and then
Fuck.
put him in the bathtub to prevent rigor mortis. Yeah. Right, that's the word, right?
Pretty messed
Yeah,
up.
Yeah, okay.
There are a few flaws with
Those are-
that, and that is that rigor mortis sets in within 10 minutes of you dying. So I mean,
Damn. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Might have been the corner bar. You never know. This is just conspiracy.
yeah,
theory.
no, I know I've heard it before, and
Yeah.
I specifically did research to try to figure out if their timeline made sense, but it doesn't quite add up. If I was an investigator, I would be like, there's some iffy things there we don't know. I I just don't understand how the autopsy didn't give them more information.
Well, I'm not surprised that it's so shrouded in darkness, just like the Lizard King.
I bet it was a cover up, bro. How many government agencies were funding the deaths of anti-war people back then? Why would they look into Jim Morrison's murder? Because he was so anti-war and all these things.
Makes sense.
I don't know, but who knows about the local coroner or whatever? why would they be involved in this government scheme to keep quiet about Jim Morrison's
It's usually
death?
not a
Where
government.
did it happen? Did it happen in
Paris.
France?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
Paris. It's usually these like when you say government schemes, it's like usually just like a few people that are already committing crimes who are employed by the government, and they are trying to avoid being caught.
But not in the 60s.
Oh yeah,
Because there's like all this
60s.
written evidence that the CIA, like, with, they
Yes,
were...
but even the CIA, like not everybody in the CIA knew about it. It was only a select few
Oh, yeah.
that actually were running these operations, and it's could have. We know that the CIA definitely committed crimes and covered them up using CIA resources in the 60s for sure. But that was largely to do with like foreign policy and then like going to the South America and Cuba and shit and spying on people and rigging elections and all this crazy shit.
What?
It's
Never.
like, it's like playing Civ.
Or selling
I know, it literally is.
or selling coke to the American inner cities from Colombia to like basically provide an incentive for the DEA to and the CIA to investigate those countries and get more involved in those places. So it's like you can't just go and do something in world politics. You have to have some kind of justification or event that causes it. And if, for example, you're getting an influx of cocaine in your country, then you're going to get an extra funding into research on where that cocaine's coming from, and then you get involved with gangsters and international criminals and all that stuff.
Wasn't that the FBI? That was like spearheaded
Oh,
that.
maybe it was.
Shout out FBI.
It's all the same.
1960s.
Not really.
It's all the fucking same.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy the other day. The chef at my restaurant walked out in the middle of the
Just like, fuck it.
Well, so we were like really busy. Everybody was new, right? So when I started there, it was all girls. It was like a lesbian and her wife were doing dishes and the cook, and then another big butch lesbian was the head chef, and it was just like a very different environment from now. Like then it was like nice because it was all girls, and they kind of like understood me, and I talked to them, and they would like be nice about things. But these guys are like hardcore. Like they're all from like,
Prison.
other restaurants that are apparently much harsher environments.
Right.
And not prison. I don't think that any of them went to prison. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so it's all new people. And D, who was like our main skillet guy, was like we were way behind. It was like everything was crazy, and like we had nothing to. We had like a full shelf, and we were like 20 minutes behind on the first take. Like we were just like not getting people their food. And so halfway through, the other chef, who's even newer than D, comes up to him and he's like, "Hey man, just finish up what you're doing and I'll take over." Like basically saying nicely, "You're kind of holding us up. You're getting in the way. Just go home and come back tomorrow with a fresh attitude." Like he was trying to be nice about it, but it was.
He was to you or this guy?
No,
Sorry,
not
right.
to me.
The
I've
guy that
never.
walked out.
I'm just a silent observer in all of this because that's what I've been since the beginning. I just stand in the corner of the kitchen and I just watch everything happen. And it's never my fault. Nothing's ever my fault because I don't have enough responsibility for it.
Save
to
yourself. Keep it
you
that
know?
way.
So, so D is just like, he doesn't take it that way. He doesn't take it the nice way. He takes it like, you suck and get out. And he just fucking. He's like, all right, well, fuck y'all. You'll get a letter from me. Just like leaves.
Just
And I just stand there like, oh
my god.
what do I do?
I picked a great time to walk into the
And the
corner
other
of the
two-
kitchen.
The other two were like, what, you never seen somebody walk out in the middle of a shift before? I was like, no, that was scary. I've never seen that.
I feel like it'd be a little bit different in a kitchen like that.
Yeah,
Because I've seen that so many times.
I know, right?
It's like it's an intense environment. Like you'd think that because it's a nicer restaurant, they'd have like people that are more professional, but it's
No
just
way.
a crap shot. It's just like it just
Yeah.
depends. Like,
Dude, when the
people show
kitchens
up-
are closed, it's way different. It's
Yeah.
like pew
Yeah.
pew pew pew
yeah.
pew pew at
It's
each
like,
other.
It's like those kitchens operate the same way like sci-fi shows operate, which are like everything is life or death. Everything is I'm trying to gain leverage over you so that I can meet my goal, and like all it's like this weird crazy
I
world
noticed.
of like
I noticed that because like there'll be for the longest time I was told to just shut up because I knew what to do that I could help. Like I stand next to the expo who like is in charge of making sure the food is the way it's supposed to be, and like making sure it matches the ticket before it goes out. Basically, like and you're also running the kitchen like, hey, I need this before you do that, so that we're not ending up making a bunch of food for tickets down the line when we need the tickets that are, right now to go out. And so you're kind of running the kitchen, and I get stuck with this over the last few weeks because we have all these new people shuffling. They don't know the rules. They don't know how the food's supposed to look. So I'm the only one that knows what it's supposed to look like. And so they stick me with this, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And so, like, 1 minute I'm, like, taking charge, and I'm like, hey, I need this. And I'm, like, snappy. And then they fucking yell at me, and they get all pissy and upset, like I'm annoying them or talking too much. But then, 20 minutes later, we're, like, 4 tickets behind, and I knew exactly what you needed to do to fix it, but you didn't want to hear it. So it's like I can't fucking say anything.
I would say just keep doing it and do it louder. That's just how kitchens work.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is they'll give me these fucking looks like, yeah, exactly.
They gave
yeah.
everybody else at their last job looks too.
I
I'm
know.
sure.
I know. But they'll all be like encouraging. They'll all say like, hey man, it's okay. Like, don't worry. Just like do what you need, and then I'll do it, and then they're like switch on me. It's so annoying.
There's a reason why in kitchens it's not breaks, it's smoke breaks.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Because it's so stressful.
Literally.
Yeah.
But it wasn't stressful with the girls. They all quit though. They all quit at the same time. When it was all girls in the kitchen, it was really nice environment, and everyone they got their food quick. Like they were really good at their jobs, and then the management just like, I guess didn't give them enough days off, and they were like, fuck you. We're all leaving at once. Everybody in the kitchen left at once. So now we're just like getting all new staff like every month, like trying to find the right
That's
staff.
literally
Welcome to the
what we're
shit
going through.
storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting that. And I'm like, hey, you just hired 3 new waiters. I asked you to make me a waiter like 4 months ago. And they're like, oh, yeah, well, sorry. That's their only explanation.
Wow.
And I'm like, hey, I really need more money. And they're like, yeah, sorry.
Holy shit.
I know. It's crazy.
Heartless.
They give me 3 shifts a week. That's all. That's the only ones that they can give me. It's pretty weird. No, whatever. I won't keep talking about boring shit. No, like they can't. Yeah, I do want more. Or I just want different ones. I don't want to have to work Friday, Saturday.
Oh, right.
Every day, every weekend.
Yeah.
I have to work Friday and Saturday every night, every weekend. So it's like I don't have those free. I mean, I'd like one.
If you can't get one, definitely choose Saturday.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean I called off on my birthday, so
Yeah,
sorry,
right.
But,
But that is the day.
yeah, I know. I told him that. I was like, I even told him I'm in a band. Like I need to do every Saturday. Like every other Saturday I might have a gig, and you're not gonna. And they were like, sure. And then I told them that a few months ago, and they're like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I'm like, okay, well I'll just quit then.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what to tell you.
They say that.
But see, that's the thing. They say that, but I'm the only one that can do my job. So I have to train somebody else before they can. So I kind of have leverage over them.
Well, you should say, I'm not training anity until
Yeah,
you
right.
change my schedule, give me a raise, and make me a waiter.
I should
Yeah.
do that. I should do that, actually. I'll see what happens.
Do it.
Because at this point, like, I realize they're trying to seem nice, and it's nice when they seem nice, but that's not really how the world works, and you have to be mean. You have to kind of tell people what you need and want.
Disagreeable people tend to get the positions they want.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I know.
So general
Nice
rules
guys
of
don't
thumb.
make it in the business world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all
That's
just
what I heard.
angry and mean.
That's not true necessarily. Nice guys do make it in the sense that if you are starting a business or you're involved in a business.
I just mean generally.
Yeah, right.
You're trying to work your way up.
Yeah, if you're trying to, if there's a
some
ladder
sort.
of, yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely need to be pushy. Like, I mean, the lady who is the head server is like always yelling at me and shit, and just saying everything I'm doing wrong. Like, I dropped a napkin. She was like, "That's a waste of a napkin."
Wow.
And like she does.
Wait,
shit-
is she the one that you snapped at?
Yeah.
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 I wanna meet
right,
her.
Right. Oh yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, she actually this week my manager went on vacation, so she was the head manager. So she was just like riding high on the fucking adrenaline of like confrontation. You know how people are addicted to
Power juice.
confronting people?
Yeah.
And she's like that, but she expects everyone to just give in because that's what most people do. But I'm such an argumentative person that she's now starting to understand that every time she says something to me, I'm gonna sit next to her and fucking talk in
It's
her
a
ear
battlefield, yeah.
until she says okay, you know. And I'm like, I'm not leaving, you know. I'd be like, I'm not leaving here. Like I'm telling you what happened. You have to accept it. And they're like, what's she gonna do? Fire me? Like, yeah, I'll just sue her. Well, because like the other manager was like, don't listen to her. She's just being rude and mean. Like, that's not, you know.
Right.
The other people know that she's crazy, basically. But maybe I should be saying that, which no one's gonna listen, so it doesn't matter. They're not gonna listen.
Yeah, just don't name drop her.
I won't.
Jessica.
This is a theoretical. This is a theoretical person. It's all made up. It's all just for funsies.
Right.
Right.
This is
This is
all
why
just
I can't. This is why I can't drink. Is because I drink nervously.
Yeah, I do.
And
that
so anytime I open a beer, I'm like, I'm done with it in like 5 minutes.
Well, I do that too.
Yeah.
then you just get to have another one.
Yeah,
I'm
then
not
you just
seeing
have
the
another
problem
one.
here, Jack.
Yeah.
I love this. So the little hops on the can are walruses.
No, but the thing is,
Wait.
if you're gonna drink all day, you have to pace yourself.
Oh, they are.
You have to learn how to pace. And
Are we
like,
drinking all day?
no,
we
but
doing?
I will be in 3 days or when my birthday is.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well,
I gotta.
that just takes practice.
Yeah. What were you saying about this?
The hops are
Um,
walrus.
Yeah, the hops on the little green guys are walruses.
Ah.
It's so cute. I really like this actually.
Yeah,
this
it's
is like
really
the
good.
first IPA that I can stomach and enjoy at the same
Does it not
time.
have any sugar?
No, it
Oh, it
probably has a
definitely has
ton of
sugar.
sugar.
Yeah, it tastes really fucking sweet. How is it an IPA? I thought IPAs were like regular beers, but just brewed differently.
Well, that's all beer.
I literally don't know the difference.
All beer is beer.
Well, I just think like
IPAs just have a specific hoppy.
sugary drinks are like not beer to me, you know? Things with sugar added to them, it's like it tastes like a fruit juice or something, you know?
Still beer.
I want it to taste like beer.
I think there's a difference between like that. And,
Oh, that's definitely
and, like,
not.
Smirnoff.
That's not too sweet.
like
Yeah.
Jamaican me happy shit. Stuff
But
like
I just wonder what's in it, like to make it that sweet. Could this be artificial?
probably. I don't know. There's a bunch. There's lemons in here. Like they did
Yeah, that'll
lemons.
do it.
and- all these local breweries usually like are pretty good about as natural a flavor as you can get before you have to start
Well,
throwing
it's
sugar on there.
Cheapest, unless you have a huge company where you can like. But yeah, it's cheaper to just use as few ingredients as possible if you're a small company. That's what Elon Musk does.
Smart guy.
Minimizes.
Where's he moving?
Where? Who?
I think he's moving to Texas.
Elon?
Yeah.
Oh, well, he's already got I mean, that's where he's building a Starship. Is in Texas, Boca Chica.
I guess that makes sense that he would move to Texas.
Yeah, he basically is renting a town right now. I don't know if you've been following.
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
He's renting a town?
Yeah,
No way.
for like a year or 2 years.
I didn't know you could do that. I've
So,
always wanted to be
you know, the
mayor.
Starship
Billionaires,
program.
man.
You know about the Starship program?
Sure.
He's making the largest rocket in history.
Okay.
He just test flew it 150 meters. It works. He's also using a brand new engine that they invented that is more efficient and more powerful than any other engine ever invented.
Is it newer than the rocket they sent up over the summer?
Yes, it's newer than
Is
that.
that this? It's not.
The
different
Falcon is
engine?
much smaller. Falcon
Right.
is-
I know it's not a huge rocket
Yeah.
by any means, but I know they had designed their own engine for it.
Yeah, it's a different engine.
Different. Okay.
It's a brand new engine. It's a closed cycle engine that it basically means like that nobody has ever done that other than the Russians with one engine that never flew. It was the RS-25 or 125 or something like that. But they invented it back in the 70s or 60s or 70s, and they tested it a bunch of times, but it never flew because it had too many problems. But this is actually like cheaper, better, more powerful than any other engine. It's really crazy. Like you should see some of the videos that come out. It looks like a giant mill, like a grain silo,
Oh wow.
but
Yeah.
it flies. And that's just the ship that goes on top of the booster, which is twice the size. It's 70. The booster's 70 meters tall,
Jesus.
Wow.
and
Oh my god.
and the ship is 30 meters tall.
Okay.
So, and they're just now building the lift vehicle for the first time, and they have to have like this huge bay to make it. And they rented this town, Boca Chica, or they are working with this town in Texas to have the tests, and they're building a shipyard to build these things. They're trying to build a fleet, like hundreds of them, to get us to the moon and then Mars. You know, if you build hundreds of them, you send it to the moon, you can get enough materials up there to build things with robots and get a base set up and actually have people move there and live there for long periods of time.
Wow.
And work there. And you can mine rocket fuel from the moon, and lifting off from the moon is, you know, 10 times easier. It takes 10 times less fuel than lifting off from Earth. Earth is really hard to get off of. If we had a base on the moon where we could make our own rocket fuel, you could just launch anywhere in the solar system easily.
Right.
You know, within 6 months.
Is that a result of how little gravity there is on the moon?
Yeah, I mean,
so there's less resistance.
Even on Mars, the gravity is significantly easier to fight against to take off from Earth. Earth is just in the sweet spot of being big enough so that it's extremely difficult but possible to leave Earth. Right? So if we moved our base of launches to the moon or some other place, you know, then it reduces the amount of fuel that you have to use, and it reduces the amount of, time it takes to get into orbit and resources it takes to get in orbit, and cost. Reduces everything. So he's renting this town and making this whole shipyard in Boca Chica, Texas. So every week they have a fucking rocket test in this town. And they're all like, everyone in their town can just walk outside to see the fucking rockets.
That's sick.
You know?
I can't wait to see what his pages look like in the history books.
I know,
right?
It's insane.
So cool.
But it makes sense that he's moving there because that's his main focus right now, is making the Starship.
I think they invited him too. I don't know if that's real, but I thought I heard somewhere that like the mayor of Houston or Dallas or somewhere was like, "Yeah, man, if you have complaints about California, we'll take you. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
manufacture your cars here. Like, we'll do it."
Yeah, I'm sure he would love it. Elon's definitely not held down by any political, or he doesn't care it's California. He's just only there because that's where he got the most money from investors. That's where he got the most support for his type of business. But now it's so big that it can go anywhere pretty much.
Right. Like the amount of Teslas I see around northern Kentucky from like 3 years ago has like doubled or tripled. It's so crazy. I see them all the time now.
I mean, that's
And
literally.
I thought he was losing money on Teslas. Like, I thought Tesla was in real bad shape like a year or two ago.
This is the thing about Elon, is he doesn't treat his individual companies as individual companies. He uses all of the funds from all of his companies to do what he thinks is the priority.
Is that legal?
Oh yeah, it's his companies. He can do whatever he wants with the money.
Oh, sure, I guess, but like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can have one company feeding into the profits of another. That's very common. That's very common practice. So what he was bankrupt. He was like going, month by month on Tesla because he was investing so much money into Starship and more Tesla factories. Mm-hmm. So and better technology in the factories and more. So, even though he was maybe breaking even there, he was also making profits other ways. Like, he's making a ton of money launching satellites right now. Like, he's the main satellite launcher of all the satellites that are launched every year, which there's tons of them being launched all the time. It's for surveillance, for he's launched like 100, there's like 50 classified payloads for the government. It's surveillance, it's just basic tracking, phone companies, Wi-Fi companies, all these things. So yeah, he's willing to sacrifice a huge chunk of profits in order to accelerate the progress of another company,
right?
For a bit, and then he'll move it back and whatever. But he's not afraid. He thinks that if you earn money, you have to spend it if you're gonna make more. You have to earn it. You have to spend it as you earn it, and that also creates motivation. It creates motivation to innovate and change and get better, And so if you're spending your money constantly, then you're also increasing your resources, on the ground, the amount of material resources that you have. You're investing in the future, right? That's what he's done since the beginning, and it's worked. It's what defied business for so many other people. That's why they didn't think it was ever going to work. You have to conserve. You have to be careful how much you're making and save as much as possible for next year. But he was just like, let's spend it all and try to get this goal done. And once we achieve this goal, we'll make money. And it worked. So he just keeps doing that.
guess so, yeah.
You know.
I wonder what kind of supplements he's taking.
I know. No, it's not a supplement. He has a chip in his brain that he invented. He's also got a fourth company.
What?
He's
He put it-
Neuralink.
But it's not what.
Put it
I
in his
thought it
own
wasn't
brain.
finished
Put
yet.
it in himself
Yeah.
already.
Oh yeah.
When
he
did
already
that
tested
happen?
himself. Oh, 5 months ago. 5 months ago, 6 months ago, he was already ready to. He was already being tested on animals. Already being tested on people. He's made it. He's already made
What?
it. It functions. It works.
What?
He's just they're trying to expand the functions of it. You know.
When did the
Holy
Rogan
shit.
podcast come out?
Yeah,
The
when
second
did he
one.
go on Rogan last?
Yeah, he talked about it on Rogan.
Right,
Yeah,
but
no,
he
but he
specifically
said
said
that
in
it
it that it
wasn't-
wasn't ready
yeah.
for human trials yet.
And the first one or the second?
The
second
second
one.
one.
Oh yeah, right. Well, it's not ready for human trials, but he offered his body to try it out.
Oh,
He put it in his head.
okay, right,
Just to
gotcha.
test it because he
Yeah, I
believes
see.
in it enough. You know, it's just whether it's ready for trials or the government has to approve it all. They have to work with the government agency that regulates that.
Is it animal ready?
I'm sure they've been testing it on animals. I'm sure.
I
I
would
mean,
put it
rats
in
and
an
you know, I
ape.
mean, they do.
Right.
They have
right.
lab rats.
Don't you have
Do
to
anything you want.
acquire some sort of government privilege for that too?
No,
to
not to
test
use
on
lab
them?
rats. Well, I mean, you have to let them know what you're doing,
Yeah.
but it's not hard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you could do anything to a rat. It's like you, I mean, unless you're torturing it, you can't torture it. But you can perform any kind of surgery. You can give it all sorts of drugs. You can do a lot of stuff to rats, and they don't care because they breed them for testing. And in fact, it's a big problem because they breed them for testing, and now they're just looking into it and realizing that the gene pool of test rats is actually not the same as real rats, and it's not as similar as to humans as real rats, as wild rats. And so it's like it's actually a big problem. Like we could have been doing all these tests completely wrong all these years, and so they've been trying to curb that and like change the genetics of lab rats.
Do you guys know if there's any validity to the statement that staring at a microwave gives you cancer?
I'm gonna say no.
Well, if it is true, I feel like in 200 years, microwaves are going to be the thing that people look back at and be like, damn, why the fuck did they cook food like that?
In my religion class
Yeah.
in high school,
Because it just seems weird, you know, that we, like, let waves, like, cook, like, a lot of our food.
here's the thing about
Just,
microwaves.
like, yeah.
That it's a very simple fact about them that would ease your curiosity. And microwaves on their own, if I just beamed microwaves at you right here, it wouldn't hurt you at all. It would not phase you. It would go right through you. It would bounce around the room, and it would be gone. It'd be no problem. The only reason a microwave heats things up is because of the specific insulation that is, there's cross beams inside the, like you look in the microwave door,
Yeah.
and it's
and
like,
Mm-hmm.
there's this shit. Well, that is all designed in a specific geometry to insulate microwaves. So the only reason a microwave heats things up is because of that insulation that keeps all the microwaves in and bouncing around and continually doing that.
Sure.
But microwaves normally are too high energy to cause any problems because they just dissipate.
Swing.
Yeah, it's gonna sound like.
Yeah,
But they
it's
just
fine.
dissipate in normal circumstances. But because there's that insulation in a microwave oven, it keeps all the microwaves in. And if it didn't keep all the microwaves in, then it wouldn't heat anything up. So if your microwave's heating things up, then there's no chance that they're escaping. Because if they're escaping, there's a way for them to get out. Then they would not they wouldn't generate enough energy to heat your food up.
So, are we gonna get cancer from staring at it?
No, but I was gonna say, in my religion class, they talked.
It's in
He
the
tried to
eyes.
convince us that cell phones cause brain cancer.
Oh, because that's real.
he looked at. It was so funny because there's this logical fallacy that says because A happened before B, it doesn't necessarily mean that A caused B. It's called causality versus causal versus. Correlative, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Correlation versus causation. So it's a fallacy. It's that, a lot of people go, oh, that happened, and then some other event happened just right after it, and they're like, oh, that must have caused that.
Like
Well, that's not
vaccines and
necessarily.
autism.
It could have caused that. Yeah, it could have caused that. But you'd have to test it and figure it out separately. You can't just say because this happened before this, it caused it for sure. because you don't know that. It could just been a coincidence.
That's assuming.
Right. And so he does this thing, which is exactly that fallacy. He goes, so look, right around the time when cell phones were invented, the amount of brain cancer in children went up this amount. And my friend raises his hand. He goes, yeah, did you know that the number of pirates has also increased with the amount of cell phones in the world? And he goes, is that also correlate? Is that also the reason for the amount of pirates in the world?
Yeah.
And he was just making a point, but it was the funniest thing because he was in class. He said it to a teacher in high school.
That's pretty awesome.
It was
That's
the
mental.
best. And that was the only other atheist that was in my class. And he would do shit. God, Owen, I love this kid. He came in the first day as a freshman, and he was doing his assignments in class, like taking notes with both hands.
What?
He was trying to write, and I go, "What are you doing?" Like, you sit right behind me. I go, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm trying to learn how to be ambidextrous, teaching myself how to be ambidextrous. So I'm writing everything with both hands." And I was like, "What? Like, who has the fucking mental drive to just decide that and like go with it? Like, yes, I'm doing it." And he did it every single day since I knew him in high school. And like by the end, he was perfectly, ambidextrous. He could do everything with his left hand.
Shit. Wow.
It was awesome.
That's
I
crazy.
wish I could be like that.
I
Fuck,
know,
man.
I know. He was
That's
one of my heroes.
That's
when I
so
was-
metal.
That's that Elon Musk state of mind.
Seriously.
You just can like fire on 3 cylinders at the same time.
But yeah, he was like-
for 18 hours a day.
You just do.
Yeah, right. It's just no
and he was one
stopping
of those
the
people
drive.
that when he says he read the Bible, like he really read it.
And annotated it too, I bet.
And annotated it, and he took notes, and he did research, and not only the Bible, he just did that to
Oh.
he just did that
Aliens.
to basically curb my teacher's ability to argue with him, because religion teachers have this way of doing things where they intimidate you almost into just accepting what they say, or like they like pretend like logically there's no other way it could make sense.
Yeah.
Right? And so just to curb that aspect of religion class, he literally learned everything our teacher knows about. He learned Latin, he learned Greek before sophomore year. Like, he learned calculus, he learned all this shit just so he could say, I know it. Just so no one could say, like, maybe that's not why he
What a
did it.
hero.
I know. Seriously.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I think about him to this day.
Check the work of your
I think about him to this
Where
day.
did he go? I want to meet him.
You should.
Yeah.
He's fucking awesome. He's just in college. I know his number. I have his number. I'm sure I could
Are
give
you
it
serious?
Cool.
Where does he go to college?
I think he went up to he went to St. X, maybe.
Okay.
He might have gone to St. X, or maybe down to Louisville.
That is
somewhere
just
nearby.
the kind of person that I would love to have a chat with
Yeah.
and just see what his life and what his brain is like.
Yeah, because he's not the kind of he's not like you or me, where he's like got that sense of like social, like he just will say whatever comes to his mind.
I think
It's
that's
like
awesome.
me.
Okay, yeah,
it's like
yeah,
me,
yeah.
but kind of even more extreme and less caring. But I have a sense that he could know about that stuff, but he just has chosen. I'm not going to take that.
I'm trying to be
Choosing-
more like that.
Yeah.
I know.
I think that is.
Everyone could be more like.
I
that.
agree. I think the perfect balance makes the perfect person, but
Yeah.
that's why humanity is kind of beautiful.
Yeah, perfect balance. That's something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Balance.
It's all relative to your own life.
What, like your.
Just,
Balance of
like
your
I wake
life.
up every day and I have to, like, I've never been in this kind of situation. Like, I'm astrophysics. Just for people listening, if anyone's listening, they don't know. I'm in astrophysics, and like every day is a challenge. Like every single day is a challenge. Like I know I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be challenged mentally, and I'm just getting used to it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels really good. Like it feels like I almost have a sense of purpose that is new, that I didn't know was there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Yeah.
I had a sense of purpose before, mostly involving music, and I still do. It's just like this is like a different kind of pressure, and like because I have no choice, like I have to learn it, I have to know it, because
Yeah.
I won't pass the test. I won't get the degree if I don't really learn it. And it's like that nothing has ever put me in this position where I have no choice about something. and it's like I'm learning to balance things in my life. Like I'm learning, like I practice bass every day for the first time for a long time, because now I get up at 7:30 or 8 with the purpose. Like I know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And also the medication I just started is helping with that, like regulating. And
When'd you start taking?
2 months ago.
No, what?
What?
Oh, it's called guanfacine. It's a blood pressure medication that they don't know why it helps ADHD. Like you look it up, what does it do for ADHD? They don't know. They don't know what the mechanism is that causes it to make people have lesser symptoms, but it works. And
Are you taking that instead of like Ritalin or Adderall?
yeah, Ritalin, Adderall is like an instant change. Like you notice, like, oh fuck, it's different right now.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, you do. Fuck yeah, you do.
But like for me, like it's not that like I notice like I'm increased cognition, because I'm hindered by my ADHD. My learning is hindered. Each thing that I'm processing, I have to process it for longer than everyone else. That's what my ADHD does to me. That's what hinders me in school. But Ritalin or Adderall will just literally make me able to focus on anything I want. And I'll just go, oh, I can focus on that and think about that and nothing else. And I can just do that. And because I'm so smart, or because I have a high IQ, I can do, like, it makes me feel very powerful when I take an Adderall, because I now get to experience what it's like for everyone else to learn something, which is actually at a normal pace, and I can actually apply the full aspect of my intelligence to something. But this is different. It's a different drug, and it's more subtle, and I didn't notice it until like 2 weeks ago. And it doesn't even start to show symptoms until a month in. So it makes sense. But I noticed, like, I wake up and I'm not completely scattered. I have a sense, like, I remember what I wanted to do the night before. Every night before, I would go, oh, I need to do this, this, and this tomorrow, or this and this and this, whatever. I had a list. I knew exactly what I needed to do, and I would wake up, and, like, one of those things would just disappear from my memory. And I would do everything else, and then I'd come to the end of the day, I go, fuck, I forgot that thing. And I just haven't been doing that as much. I wake up with the same brain as I did the night before, almost. It's just, I feel more consistent, and that's given me the ability to, like you said, it's like keep more of a balance in my life. Because before, everything was a reaction, because I was so behind on everything. I was behind on I was behind on music, I was behind on school, I was behind on whatever I cared about, I was behind on it. And so that was just like how I learned to live. And now I don't feel like that. I feel like I'm kind of at the pace that my brain is.
Much better, eh?
Interesting.
It's just really good. You know?
Probably really relieving.
But it's that's the thing, is it doesn't even feel like I'm on anything, which is what I love.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like I'm on some drug that is changing my brain. It's just it is like something that I've slowly noticed, which is like I don't want to feel like I'm changing quickly.
Yeah, right.
Because it's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to change with life and like how it goes. And yeah, I don't know. I feel pretty good about this medication. Because that's what they say. If you're on a medication, you shouldn't feel like you're on a medication if it's the right one.
Right.
You know?
Should just feel.
Because like with Adderall, it was like,
plus.
fuck. And like 4 days in, I would be like panicking and freaking out and shit. Like, everything's like I just felt like a different person. You know? But this is like, it's like a better version of me, I think.
Good.
I hope.
Guess you'll continue to find out, eh?
Yeah, right. Yeah. I haven't tried. I haven't been as creative lately, but that's partially because I'm just learning all these songs, and also because I'm doing math every day. And like when you think that analytically about stuff, it's hard to like get loose and like feel your emotions.
Yeah.
I have to take days off, but Belle's helping me with that.
For sure.
Yeah, Belle's helping me relax.
Real quick, what time are we at?
Approaching 40. I don't want it to be Jack podcast.
It is Jack
It is
Podcast.
Jack
Oh, it
podcast.
is?
Yeah. We're doing this for you.
Oh, that makes
Episode
sense.
6, Jack.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Have I not done one that
Well,
worked?
see, that chair, this location is.
Oh, the guest.
That's the guest spot.
Oh, got you.
That's why we give you the nice mic and the...
This is the peanut gallery. and
Mhm.
this
What
is
about
the
that one that I did
interviewer.
that was like our first one? Did we keep that?
With my dad. Yeah. That
Oh,
one's
okay.
that one's good.
Okay.
Ready for action.
Was Bill the guest?
No, Was he?
Yeah, Bill was the guest on the one you came into.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We were
Yeah.
all in a room together. I remember now.
We were all in a room
Next
together.
week, Garrett Kreider.
Yeah.
So we'll just,
Yeah. Rotate. How has living with Belle, moving out of your parents' place been?
Pretty awesome. I just feel like I don't have this like I would wake up at my parents' house and I would almost get distracted by the fact that I was at my parents' house. Because once you live on your own in college, like I went off to college my freshman year, lived on my own, and while it was depressing because I was in a bad state of mind when I moved out then, I mean, I had literally just gotten over, I don't know, recap, junior year was a recovery from the car wreck, and senior year was mostly me figuring out how much mental shit that I had going on before and after the car wreck that I wasn't addressing. I was so anxious and depressed every single day. I wasn't doing any work at school, nothing. I would just wake up, stare at it, and do nothing. And I had no ability or awareness of what was going on. I was like, what is wrong with me? I want to do this work. I want to progress in my life, but I don't, I can't. I feel like I'm stuck. And first of all, I was dealing with a little bit of anxiety, some pretty bad anxiety before the car accident that I didn't have any awareness of, and that I was just pushing down and just suppressing and just treating it like it was, this is the way it is. I didn't know that other people didn't feel that way necessarily. And then after the car wreck was this whole depression spiral because I would think about death all the time because I came so close to it, and the moment I woke up, all I thought about was one day this is going to happen again, and it's going to be permanent. One day this is going to happen again, and it's not going to be. I'm not going to wake up and be able to get up from it. I'm going to have to face that one day. And I didn't. When you're a kid, you don't think about that. You don't think you're immortal, but you basically live like you're immortal.
Right.
Yeah.
You live like you don't have anything to lose, and it's that moment made me realize. Getting the car wreck made me realize there's everything to lose. You have to make sure every moment of your life that you're spending it the way you need and you want to, because it's you will go to sleep one day and you won't wake up. And I knew that, I knew about death and I knew that there was no God before the wreck, but realizing it and actually like I say, I knew there was no God. I don't want to shit on your religious beliefs if you're listening. To me, it seems obvious that there's no God, so I'm going to believe that. But if you think there is a God, I'm not going to judge you at all, and I'm not going to care, and I support you, and I think freedom of religion is important. But to me, before the wreck, I was already accepting, it was one life, and it's okay. But when your body experiences that, when your body experiences coming really close to death, it's a different realization. It's just more powerful and more deep cutting. And so senior year I was dealing with that, went to therapy, and I ended up having to get on Zoloft because I was in such bad mental condition. When people asked me what was wrong, I would just sit there and stare at them and just cry to myself every night.
That's what I've heard about
Yeah.
Zoloft.
Yeah. No, I mean when I was not on Zoloft.
Oh, when you were not on it.
Yeah, well that's the thing is sometimes it can cause increased depression, but what it did for me was actually, even though I experienced horrible symptoms at first, like throwing up every week, but after the symptoms went away, it gave me a sense of groundedness so that I could think about what was going on in my head without being so. Because when I would think about, I'm anxious about death, or I'm anxious about, my life right now, or whatever, PTSD. You're not anxious about something. It's just you're anxious all the time and you don't know why. And that's what I was experiencing, this PTSD thing of extreme trauma. And so, Zoloft just gave me a break for a second, and it didn't make experiencing the PTSD, it didn't make it a physical, I would panic attack. I would have panic attacks every day. I would have daily panic attacks at school, teachers would have to drag me into the office, and I would just weep and weep and weep and weep for hours, and I just couldn't go to class, and it was just insane. I was going through crazy shit, and Zoloft it made everything level. which is not good for your whole life. You don't want that. You don't want to be like a flat line your whole life, you know. But for the moment where I was experiencing extreme anxiety, extreme panic attacks every day, it gave me the ability to like look in at myself and go, oh, this is what's happening in my brain. I'm reacting to this horrible thing that happened to me. I need to spend time moving on from that, doing things, you know, every day that are counteracting my depression. And when your depression tells you to sit down and do nothing, get up and just take a walk or just do anything. Yeah. You don't have to do, you know, everything you're supposed to be doing. Like, I was so behind on school, but it wasn't important to me that I got the schoolwork. It was important that I just did something that was not what my depression and what my brain was telling me. You know, nothing is worth it. You don't need to do anything. You know, that was my brain was telling me. And so senior year, I come out of that, like, barely passing my classes. My parents had to help me. My teachers had to give me special treatment. You know, they had to let me turn in late work and all that stuff. And I finally caught up. I graduated, and then I went right into freshman year, living on my own with nobody there, no friends, you know, nearby to help me. And so it's just like went straight from anxiety and depression to just loneliness. And like,
I lived right there, bro.
Yeah,
we hung out all the time freshman year.
No, I know, but like when I come home, like
for
me,
I know what you
I
mean.
am the type of person that needs to have a place that is comfortable, that is safe, that I can release whatever I need to release and be honest with people or be honest with myself even, and just have a place like that. And I came home to these kids that I didn't know that were crazy, that would like, you know, like get caught like drinking in public and go to jail and like come back and be like, come party with us. Like, not what I needed my freshman year, starting a really difficult curriculum. You know, it was very difficult to try to like come home to the same tiny little box every day and have to do 6 hours of homework. I mean, it was nice to come over to your, I mean, you guys saved me. I mean, without you guys, I would not have gone through any of this. So, I mean, you know, you were always there through this, helping me. But, you know, when you go through personal shit, it's personal shit, you know. Even if you do see your friends every day, you're still, you know, going through that shit.
Right.
And it's not enough to just see your friends. It's you need somebody. I need somebody that's there with me daily, because the ADHD makes it so that object permanence, like if I know something is a reality one day, I'll forget it's a reality the next day. And so somebody needs to be there to go, no, Jack, remember, it hasn't changed. It's still this way. And Belle is that, you know, since we started dating, I realized that she listened to me, like actually listened and heard everything I said and understood it, which is not only the first person I've dated that has done that, but I mean, it is. That's why it is. It's the first person I dated. It was like first date. And I was like, oh my God, she's different. Like, she actually gets me. Like, she can listen to me and understand. And having that every day to come home to, it's just like, it's an unbelievable burden off my back. Because I, like, before at my parents' house, even though I was going to say before, even though you know, freshman year was hard because I was living on my own, I did have more personal freedom and I didn't feel that restriction. Then when I came home, you know, I felt like I had to tell my parents everything I was doing, and like I had to tell them when I was leaving and going and what I was doing every day, and they always asked for updates about what was going on in my life. And I just like, that adds an extra layer of things I have to keep track of, which for me is disastrous. I need as few things to focus on as possible, you know? And that's what having an apartment does, is it allows me to have one place to do everything I need, you know? So, I mean, you know, it doesn't magically fix any problems, but it definitely, like, me and Belle used to argue mainly because it was, you know, we weren't seeing each other, and it was so hard to see each other. We had to drive around every now and then. And that was literally our only arguments were around, well, how can we see each other today, or how can we, you know? Mm-hmm. And, you know, since then, haven't had a single argument. We know we both want to live in this nice place and keep it nice and keep it this safe place for us to go home to and have it be a quiet place to do work and, you know, play music or whatever it is. And, yeah, I'm pretty happy, pretty stoked about it.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice, man.
Long wind up for that.
Right. Happy.
But it does, yeah, it does. I mean, everything in your past affects today. So it's important to like keep into consideration where you were. Where were you a year ago?
And that's one road leading up to right now.
Yeah, like where were you 6 months ago or 2 years ago? You know.
Actually, I just got an update. I was in Lexington a year ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Neat.
Exactly a year
Went to
ago.
Keeneland for a horse race.
Oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I never
No
got
longer
to go.
existent.
Not that like Keeneland is the epitome of all the places I'd ever want to go.
You never
but-
been there?
No.
Mm.
I'd like to try it once.
It was fun.
Wear a cool suit or something.
I
Yeah.
didn't know
Get
that
drunk
you
as
had to wear
fuck.
a suit when I went. I just went
You
in a
did?
t-shirt and jeans.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's
too.
even better. That's
Yeah.
even better.
Oh, I didn't even do t-shirt and jeans. I did t-shirt shorts. Like,
Hell yeah.
Like old Jack.
Like
Yeah.
basketball shorts
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I didn't
Safe
wear any.
Ferris.
Not like khaki. Yeah, right. Safe Ferris.
Yeah, no,
That's
the only
badass.
thing I remember about Keeneland, I was probably like 12, and I remember my uncle whittling a knife. That's
Like
the
a
only thing I
wooden knife?
remember. Yeah, he was just like,
Hey, Jack.
At Keeneland?
yeah, because there's a big, because there's like a giant field where all the kids go to hang
Yeah,
out.
right.
Like I didn't care about the races. I never cared about any of that shit. Like even when I went to baseball games, I'd be like, so what, you know? They're pitching a no-hitter, Jack. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like
What's that mean again?
because I'm so well, no, it's that I'm
that
so,
soccer?
like when I was a kid. If you think my ADHD is bad now, it's like when I was a kid, I couldn't not focus on what was around me. Like I had to meet the people next to me and talk to them and get to know them or whatever. Like I had this like compulsive thing where I couldn't focus on what I was there for. Like I would go a place for a specific reason and then completely not do that reason when I was there. And I would just find a different purpose to be there and just go along with that
I'm
purpose.
so happy you're turning 21.
Yeah.
Because the only purpose when you go to a bar is to do exactly that.
Yeah, right.
Right. That's
It's to just
actually so
address what's
true.
right in front of you.
Right.
Well, that's why that's why I
point.
think I work well in the musician's corner is because that's what musicians they all do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
right.
all they're not concerned with I mean, yeah, you do the show, but that's a given.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you're concerned with what's going on around you. Who are the people that are coming to see you? How can I make some new friends? It's like, I mean, when I was a swimmer, I probably made 500 crazy person impressions to people. Like, I know that at least like 200, 300, 400, 500 people remember me. Like, I know they do. Because the first time I met them, I did something so crazy that they couldn't forget me, you know? And like, that was the type of person I was all the way until I developed any kind of self-awareness in high school. And like, I was like, oh, okay, what I say affects people. All right. that makes a lot more sense now.
That is the thing.
But I was just like, it was like whatever was in my head had to come out. And I had no awareness or sense. And swimming was great for me for that reason, because you go into a room with like 500 athletes, that are all, they're fun people. Like, they're just like, they're having fun. Because like you get, athletes, like when they get together, you get this like shot of adrenaline. Like you get this competition like sense, like when you get a bunch of really great teams together. Like I was a national level. You go to a national, like junior nationals, and you meet the best of the best from every state, and you go there and you meet these incredible people. It's like, I didn't do any warm up, warm down. I didn't do any of the shit that you were supposed to. I just spent all the time just talking to people, and, like getting to know them. What are you doing? What's your name? Blah, blah, blah.
Well,
You
that's
go, what the
that's your warm up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, that would get my adrenaline pumping and
Right,
shit. It made
yeah.
me feel alive. I would wear, and it didn't help that I wore a pink suit, a pink robe, and pink goggles. That was my favorite color. So I walk around. I'm the only guy like covered in pink. And I made a lot of. I mean, you meet all sorts of people. You meet people that are bullies, and you learn to deal with them. You meet people that are just like I met some girl that was like famous on social media. She had this channel that had like 50,000 followers. And I was like, oh my God, and she just talked to her, and I still know her. Like, I still text her. It's crazy that people you meet. Yeah, that was like what kind of, it's weird. Like the first half of my life, I had like absolutely no self-awareness whatsoever. And so I had no ability to really grow past maturity is complicated. Like, some people you ask that have met me say I'm the most mature person they ever meet it for my age or whatever. My parents will tell me I'm super mature for my age. It's because I think about things that maybe other people wouldn't. But when you look at the aspect of maturity of, how are you affecting people when you walk into a room? How are you, how aware are you of what you're saying and how it's affecting people? I had zero of that kind of maturity for like the first over half of my life. And so I was just living this insane, like instinct-based, basically, life. I had no idea, And then I started going to therapy in high school, and that was the first time. It was like a moment in high school where I started to change. Like, I remember the moment. I was like, fuck, I have emotions, and if I pay attention to them, it affects the way I behave. Like, it will affect the way that I talk to other people. If I'm sitting there thinking about how I'm feeling right now, and this, for most people, is like totally like a given. Like, it's an instant. Yeah, you're just aware of your emotions. You take your emotions into account for what you say and what you do. I didn't do that. There was no emotion involved in what I was saying. It was all my brain working at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and I was just acting on that all the time.
Pew 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 pew
Yeah.
pew pew.
And so now I've kind of shifted completely the opposite direction, where I'm spending every day thinking very hard about what I'm thinking and feeling and making sure that I understand, because I missed so much from growing up. I missed so much in development, I feel like. I spent so long pushing down what I thought were just useless things, but they were my emotions. Like, they were the most important thing,
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of like I feel like I'm on the road to recovery towards back to the old Jack, but from this other perspective of, I actually can think of what I'm doing and think of what I'm saying.
It's all part of growing up.
Yeah.
Your process.
Yeah,
your,
it's
your
different
own
process
unique
for everybody.
process.
Yeah, because some people are born with that ability and they just live like that, but they don't have the ability to just go up to somebody they've never met and just spill out some personal information or whatever. Like, I can do that with no problem, and I have confidence enough in myself that I know I'm going to be able to hold myself in those situations. Nobody intimidates me to talk to. I love to talk to people that are scary or way smarter than me or way dumber than me.
Interesting conversations
or homeless
usually.
or whatever.
Right.
Whatever it is. People that some people they take their whole lives to get over these fears. I was just born without them. But that, so that gave me a head start in one aspect, but now I have to spend the rest of the time catching up.
Would you pick up a hitchhiker?
Oh,
No.
good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would either.
I had the opportunity the other day, and I actually thought about it. I was like, fuck, man, I don't know. It might be a great story.
On
Or I
one
might get
hand,
stabbed.
It's
And
like life is a beautiful mystery, and you could be helping out the coolest person ever.
Right.
Or
right.
also, this is how I die.
Yeah, right.
That's definitely like one way to live life. I think too much. I think in the right situation. The thing is, it changes situation. Like if I'm California, on vacation, driving around with a rental car or whatever.
It's like 1969, and there's just some dude with a fucking surfboard, like.
Yeah. Do it. Absolutely pick that guy up.
Yeah, but if it's like back hills of Tennessee, and there's just some guy like.
But like if it's local,
With all dreadlocks.
like COVID changes things. But like if it's like okay, like me and Belle went on vacation together to the Outer Banks.
Wait, what did you say changes everything?
I said it changes depending on like
Depending.
like the
Okay.
situation.
Sorry, I misheard.
Yeah. So like my opinion about hitchhikers changes depending on the situation. So like we went to this beach. It was really really amazing. Like the beach that we were on was like super rocky and like it was like this steep cut off. It was terrible to like just relax in. And then you go like a little bit down the line on the Outer Banks and it's like complete flat. Like you could walk like a quarter mile out to the thing and it's still flat, like it's And so we went to that place. We started looking for shark teeth, and this homeless guy comes up. I think he was homeless. He had like 4 front teeth missing, and he's skinny as hell. Looked like he hadn't eaten.
Did he have a
very much.
backpack?
Yeah, he had a backpack with all his
super
stuff in it.
tan.
Super tan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked
beach
like a
bum.
homeless guy. Yeah,
Seems
beach bum.
likely.
Exactly. That's what I said when he was walking up. Oh, look, a beach bum. He's coming toward us. And this is right when COVID was like starting to like really, we were starting to. It was in the summer, so we were still like full swing COVID. But the guy puts a mask on, which I would not expect. Puts a mask on, comes up, talks to us, super nice, like really, really nice. He's telling us all the names of the seashells and how they got their names. Like he knows all this shit. He surfed from California to here, like he just wanders and just surfs and like loves life. This guy.
Hell yeah.
And we're like, yeah, we're searching for shark teeth. He goes, oh, hold on. Runs back up to his bag. Comes back with this fucking giant shark tooth. And he goes, that was stuck in my surfboard like a year ago, and I've been saving it, but here you go. He just gave it like no problem. Like he was saving it, and he just found us. We told him we were looking for shark teeth. He gave it to us, no problem. Like, nicest guy ever. I would totally pick that guy up,
Yeah.
Right.
Like in that type of situation, or like
you just don't know.
yeah,
it's so hard to
but
gauge.
most of the time, hitchhikers are the ones that get assaulted. That's the majority of hitchhiking things going wrong. Is when hitchhikers get picked up by someone who's a predator and trying to kill them or rape them or something.
Right.
And that like it's more dangerous to actually hitchhike than
Than to
which
pick
is
up
why it's
one?
illegal. It's illegal because it's dangerous for
It's
you.
illegal?
Makes sense.
Yes, it's illegal to hitchhike.
Really?
It's been illegal.
Why?
Because it's dangerous. Because they know that people have been killed, people have been raped. Who just picking up a random stranger.
Yeah, but you could put on a squirrel suit, even though you could die. Like, it's fucking likely you could be like that guy
Well,
in that video
for
and
whatever-
crash into a bridge
right.
full of people.
For whatever
'cause you're
reason,
in a squirrel suit.
I
but
think that it should be
it's
legal.
legal.
I think it should be legal because it's a personal freedom. Like, if
I agree.
That's
I think
what I'm
it's
saying.
ridiculous.
Well, that seems kind of strange.
The reason it's illegal is because you can't use public roads to solicit. It's some technicality. It's like some
okay.
technicality of the
Yeah.
fact that the roads are owned by the public,
It's
and
a
you can't solicit
Technicality
I see.
loophole
material.
bullshit.
You can't solicit like a service or something.
Right. Okay,
know?
that kind of makes sense.
It's like a technical. It's not like hitchhike, but there are some states that actually say explicitly you can't hitchhike.
I bet Arizona.
People still
I
do
bet
it.
it's legal in Arizona.
Yeah, of course
California
it's
is
illegal
a
in California.
non-hitchhiking state. Yeah, 'cause
It's legal?
illegal.
Yeah.
It's
well,
explicitly
that
illegal.
makes sense.
Might as well just. Never mind.
Kentucky, I
I
don't
don't think
know.
I would pick up anyone in California, just to be honest.
Not today.
Yeah,
No.
right.
Yeah.
That's what
I mean,
I'm
unless
saying.
if you're not one of the big towns, maybe, and you
Yeah,
know
perhaps,
people or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
But I'm saying like around here, you pick up a hitchhiker, they're probably just trying to get a mile down the road. You know?
Probably.
There's
yeah.
probably just some guy that's like, yeah, I'm homeless, but I have a life too, and like most of the homeless people I talk to around here they're suffering from some mental illness, or they're behind on debt. They're extremely in debt, or they have child support they can't pay and they can afford rent or whatever. It's not like California where it's all drug addicts.
100,000 people too.
It's all people that are on heroin and meth, and and not all heroin and meth addicts are bad people.
Right.
And
But they certainly are probably more dangerous.
yeah.
Right.
And if they have a huge pack on their back, I don't know if I would take them because they could have a gun. But if they're just like standing, I can see that they don't have, they've got loose shirts on. They don't have a fucking gun on their hip. Like if I could see that and they're just like, hey man, I just need a ride. They talk to me like I would do it for sure.
Sure.
I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to because Belle would never do that.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
But if it were up to you,
Yeah, right.
sure.
Right, but that's life. You can't. You gotta
Compromise.
Yeah, you gotta compromise. Exactly.
I think I'm too cynical. I don't
Fine,
think
babe. I
I
guess I won't pick up the hitchhiker. God damn
because I don't want to. I guess we all kind of inherently profile people.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way around that.
Yeah.
You see someone, a judgment enters your mind,
I mean, I
whether you
think-
like it
look,
or not.
It's
Or
usually
whether you
just
agree
the way
with it or
they.
not.
But it's usually easier like with a not. If you're picking up a hitchhiker, you've got like a split second to do that.
Yeah,
it's like
right,
what they're
to, like-
wearing. Usually, I do it based on body language and actual language. And
Like if he's just like,
yeah, how can you tell what kind of a person this is?
Right.
right.
It's somebody who needs a ride, and then
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. The rest of it is what they look
yeah,
like.
it could be
Yeah.
they need a ride because they're fucking in trouble from the law. It could be that, yeah. it could
Or
be a
they,
lot of
maybe
reasons.
their car just ran out of gas.
Exactly, and they're
Yeah.
just a normal fucking, they're not even homeless. They're just
just
like, hey
don't
man,
know.
I just need a ride down the road, That's the thing, is it's freaky, but it doesn't really happen. What did happen one time, I was walking up to Kroger, and this guy and his girlfriend were like, do you know which way it is to Tennessee? He's like, I'm trying to go to Nashville.
There's the
That way.
That way. Yeah. Right.
I was like, well, we're on Dixie Highway, so if you just take it south,
Yeah.
you'll get to Tennessee. I mean,
That's fucking rich.
I think
because
you'd
it
end up
does.
in-
It runs from Detroit to fucking Florida.
Yeah, right.
I thought
Dixie
I
Highway.
think it's Alabama.
Oh no, it goes
Maybe
all
I'm
the way
wrong.
down to Florida. There's a Dixie. There's for sure.
There's
It goes to-
Dixie.
yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
It goes all the way down to Florida.
Same with I-71.
It's
or
25.
five.
It's 5.
25.
It's 75.
75.
straight
75
I
goes
think it
straight
goes through
down.
Knoxville.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's Highway 25. It's one of the longest highways in America. Dixie. It's pretty cool. We actually live in a surprisingly historical area, but because it's so unassuming,
Yeah.
nobody thinks that.
Right, right.
But
What do you-
it was
A lot of these cities were founded in the late 1700s. Like Ludlow was 1793. It's
Yeah.
not, it's like we were 20 years
Over
old
the
in
Rhine was
country
the
when-
most population
founded.
dense area in the entire world in 1870. It was more dense than
Yeah.
anywhere in India, anywhere in China, anywhere in America. It was most population dense.
People just piled on top
place in
of
the
each
world.
other.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, it was insane.
That's
Like
so
the
cool.
Industrial Revolution was
Shit in the
huge
streets.
here.
Ugh.
It caused so much change so quickly, and it's just like in the middle of the country, so people don't think. But 71, 75 is the #1 national emergency right now. The bridge that
Huh?
crosses
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
between
like,
Kentucky and
yeah,
Ohio.
right.
Brins,
It's like-
Brinspence, right?
yeah.
It's the
Brent Spence
#1
Bridge.
national infrastructure emergency.
Right, right.
And
Yeah.
it's because it's like one of the highest. It's like the second or third highest trafficked highway in the world, and it's one of the largest highways in the world.
They built it for a super small amount of people, and then as industrialization
Population,
happened in
You know,
yeah,
you're
like
right.
the
There should be
50s
2
and the
more
invention
lanes
of
on
the
that
highway.
sucker.
Oh my God.
There need to be 2 more bridges and 2
Yeah,
more
right.
highways.
Yeah, you're
For
right.
real.
Because the traffic from Detroit to Florida is so high because there's so much import export coming out of both places.
There's construction
Yeah,
somewhere.
and you're also
all
getting
the time.
Canadian export. You're getting so many different international. You're getting lots of different lanes of travel through that one little bridge.
I take that bridge every day.
I was
Now
going
I'm
to-
thinking about it.
I know I was going to work and there was a wreck on the bridge and it held up traffic for fucking 30 minutes. And that is millions of dollars in cost just from that wreck happening.
Also, there's a bunch
It's
of
like
people
millions.
stopped on the bridge, and it's gonna collapse soon.
Fucking scary.
Yeah.
Especially when trucks start moving and you feel the bridge
It's like,
shake beneath you. You're like,
good.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Please get me
Get me
off
off
of this
of
fucking
here.
thing.
I'm literally only talking about the
Like-
economic emergency, but yeah, it's a fucking safety emergency too. Speaking of bridges, we just went over.
Dude, we're bitching about traffic right around Fort Mitchell. Imagine how bad the traffic would be if they blocked off that fucking
Oh
bridge
my God.
well, they did remember when they put it under construction
down to 2 lanes.
yeah,
Oh
and
my
it was
goodness.
just literally nonstop
That's
traffic all day.
Traffic to Union, traffic to
Uh-huh.
Loveland, just
Mhm.
stopped.
Yeah, and what's I gonna say? Oh yeah, speaking of bridges, in physics class we learned about normal modes of a system. So normal mode is basically a spot in the system, a way that you can excite it. So say you have a pendulum, right? That's connected to another pendulum with a spring.
Mm-hmm.
A normal mode is a way that you can excite the system. So say I pull them apart in equal amount and they go like this. It's a way that you can excite the system so that the frequency of every part is the exact same. So you can pull two springs apart and they bounce like this and they go back and forth. Or you can pull them the same distance and they go like this back and forth. But either way, they're the same frequency. So there's 2 normal modes of that situation. Well, bridges have a normal mode too. And also every physical structure has a natural frequency at which it wants to vibrate. So if your natural frequency matches, say, the surrounding frequency of the air, then you could have the structure completely destroy itself. That's why they have to make buildings earthquake proof. They have to make it so that they account for every single part of the building so that the natural frequency of the building doesn't shake itself to death every time there's a small earthquake, right? So you have to make it not align. You have to make the natural frequencies really weird. Well, there was this bridge called the Tacoma Narrows Bridge where it was built in the 1940s. They didn't have computer modeling to know what the normal modes were. Bridges were just built for the longest time before we had computers. They were just built based on what did the last bridge do and how did it work. And if that works, we'll just build it like that, right? And there was no ability to test whether a bridge was going to work until you built it. for like until like 1970, 80s, 90s even. Actually, yeah, 90s or 2000s really was when computer modeling became a thing. So before that, they built this brand new type of bridge, which is always a risk, and it's way longer than it is thin, and that just happens to excite two normal modes of the system. It excites the mode that waves like this, and it twists the bridge. So the wind starts blowing, and the normal modes of this bridge get excited, and the bridge just starts fucking twisting and shit, and people are on it, and it's like waving like a fucking like water, but it's concrete. So it just falls into the fucking river a month after they built it.
Where?
Hilarious. It's called it's in Tacoma.
Oh, okay.
It's right outside of Seattle, and it's called the Tacoma Narrows Bridge. And Tacoma Narrows is this river. And super famous example. And like while people were on it, this wind starts coming on, and it just starts twisting like this. And luckily nobody died, but it's a crazy video to watch.
Oh, there's a video?
Yeah, you can watch it.
Fantastic.
You can watch it happen.
Shit.
It's
I
incredible.
gotta
Young
look that
Jamie,
up.
please pull it up.
Yeah, right.
It's one of it's one of the only.
projector
I know,
screen.
yeah.
It's the only example that we have on video of the normal modes of a large system being stimulated at the same time. Because normally you'd have to if you wanted to test that on like a thing as big as a bridge, you'd have to build something as big of a bridge to test it, and that costs a lot of money, and it's not worth it. But we didn't even really know if this shit was like the theory behind this math was real until this bridge started twisting around.
Noted.
Just because of the wind, and they're like, oh, we gotta test this shit before
Yeah, wow, that's not supposed to happen.
Gentlemen,
Yeah, you want to wind it up?
you want to wrap this up?
Wind it down, wind it up.
Wind it down and wrap it up. Jack Johnson, it's been a pleasure.
Yes,
this
it
is
has.
super fun. We should do this again.
Oh yeah, this is actually our sixth time.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So stay tuned.
Let's go for number 7.
Oh,
Mhm. Next week.
Garrett Ryder.
Next week.
Yeah.
Unless we find somebody better.
Put Gary under the spotlight. Yeah.
All right.
All right,
do
love
it.
you guys. Thanks for listening very much. Once again, we're Trauma, Illinois. Look us up on social media. Oh, yeah, and also listen to Frogtown on YouTube, our new single,
Yes.
and be ready for it to release next month on Black Friday.
Is it gonna be a Black Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going
let's
to
do
try to
Black
release it
Friday.
on Black Friday or a little bit before then.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be around Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
So Jeeves, you should be called Young Jeeves.
Yeah, young
Yeah,
G.
right. Young Jamie.